Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends. Happy fucking New Year. We hope you guys all had a safe and pleasant New Year's. Hopefully the world hasn't ended by the time this actually comes out, you know.
Why we got a new Y2K bullshit?
Y2K22?
Yeah.
2K22 bug?
Some shit.
Remember how crazed people were about that? They
Yes.
thought everything was going to fucking...
All because shit was going to go from 99 to 00.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, the computers aren't going to understand that it's not 1900. Like,
for all the kids listening,
Yeah.
Y2K
yeah, that's true.
was people who were fucking going insane.
Yeah, at the turn of the millennium, people thought that the clocks on computers were going to roll over from 99 to 00.
Producer Rick, you remember that? Y2K?
What?
Never mind.
it's too old. The memory's going. Yeah, it rolled. They thought the clock was going to roll from 99 to 2000 or to 00. And the computers hadn't been programmed up to the year 2000, so they thought they're like, the computers are going to think it's 1900, and they're all going to shut down.
Nuclear reactors were going to go
Because
off.
they're going to be like, we didn't exist in 1900. I'm like,
fucking missiles were
I don't know.
launch.
To me, that doesn't make any sense.
There was books on that shit.
Oh, for sure. People like shut down your computers
Barnes and
at night
Nobles.
because we think the world's going to end.
Barnes and Nobles was making a shit ton of money on those books. And Barnes and Nobles was around before Amazon was selling
Yeah,
books.
exactly. Yeah, you used to be able to buy these things called books.
Left to right, turn the page. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're made of paper, which is ground up trees. Someday this episode is going to age really well, and people are going to be like, what are these guys talking about?
What the fuck is he talking about?
They're already like that. But we thank you for listening anyway. If you're joining us fresh into the year 2022, we do appreciate that. We appreciate you liking and subscribing. That's the best way to support us. We really appreciate that. It's a little like and subscribe. It's all free down on the YouTubes or on the Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. However you listen or watch your podcast. If you want to take it to the next level, start the year off with a bang, make it your New Year's resolution to support us on Patreon. Nerds with Friends, patreon.com.
Fuck yeah.
Patreon.com/nerdswithfriends.
This episode is brought to you by Waterloo, since Hint never got back to us, so Waterloo.
I wish it was brought to you by Diet Pepsi. We'd be making some real money. I'd quit my job.
Yeah, Bud Light never got back to us. No, was it Bud Light?
Yeah, Limeritas.
Limeritas.
God,
they kind of got back to
that's
us.
a throwback.
They were like, have your people talk to
They're like,
our
please
people.
get fucked.
Yeah.
Please stop
people
emailing us.
Tell us to get fucked.
Yeah.
Tell your people.
Like, yeah, that's handled by local guys. Maybe you could bother them instead. But we're going to be talking about some potentially one of the worst movies of last year. Though I think didn't Wonder Woman 84 come out last year?
Yes. Ooh. Fuck. I don't know in which one.
I don't know. The last 2 years have really blurred together.
Yeah, fucking
I don't know
pandemic
when it started and when it's ever going to end. But we're going to be talking about Matrix Resurrections, now available on HBO Max or in a theater near you. I'd recommend HBO Max because I would not want you to spend money on this movie.
Well, you technically do because unless you're
true.
borrowing it from someone else.
Yeah, you're the real heroes. So we're going to be giving our review and an in-depth spoiler talk on that. And we will let you know when the spoiler talk is going to happen. We're also going to give you a brief, intro to the Book of Boba, which the first episode just premiered for us last night, for you guys last week. I guess we can kind of do that now. We'll do a spoiler-free review. What are your thoughts so far on Book of Boba?
It was
Disney Plus show.
I guess I don't want to trash it because it was the first episode,
Right.
but I'm willing to continue.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I want to see where it goes. I mean, John
Favreau
has brought us very far along with Star Wars, and Mr. Filoni as well has done us pretty good. So I'm gonna, maybe it's a slow start. Are we gonna talk about it? It's been out for a week.
Let's not. I don't think we should get too far into plot yet. But
okay. Well, something happens that everyone knows what happened. And it was just kind of like, I didn't feel like it needed to be shown.
Oh, the Sarlacc pit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets out of the Sarlacc pit. I mean, that's not a spoiler because we know that happened.
Right. That's what I was like,
Right?
I don't know if it needed to be shown because we know it happened.
It was kind of fun seeing it. Like, I didn't mind that so much. basically, here's what I'll say is I had very low expectations for that show.
And it met it.
And it passed those low expectations, I guess, because now I actually want to see episode 2.
Right.
Like, when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, dude, I do not care about this at all. And it was a weird feeling because it was like, it was new Star Wars, and I'm normally all about it. But it just like, I have no interest in Boba Fett being a crime boss on Tatooine. Like, that does
because
not.
you've always hated Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily hate him.
You don't get why
I don't
people
understand the big deal about him, right? I liked his return in The Mandalorian because I think that's a cool part of the Mandalorian story. But yeah, I don't need that much more of him. But I will say, so far what they've showed of him being like a crime boss and the escaping the Sarlacc pit, seems like we're going to be doing like a flashback, / present day kind of narrative throughout the season. So I don't know. The flashbacks seem kind of cool.
I'm curious to where it's going to go because they have the character walking in a very fine line where he was definitely a villain in the original Star Wars. Mando started off villain. You're kind of like, oh, okay, maybe, he misunderstood and maybe we didn't get him. And now it's like, oh, he's walking that fine line of villain again. And his dad was 100% villain in the prequel. So it's like, it's a weird, like, balancing act. But we'll see. I'm willing to give it a chance.
I mean, one thing with him is he was always a bounty hunter, right? Which, I mean, it's not necessarily like he's not a bad guy for being a bounty hunter. He's just kind of a bad guy for like how he treats like Han Solo and stuff like that, right? So I mean, maybe that's just a personal grudge, and Han Solo's kind of a dick sometimes,
But he's a likable dick.
He's fucking sick. Yeah, he's fucking cool.
Because Mando's a bounty hunter, but we never dislike him at all. So.
We like him from the start. So, yeah, maybe he got a bad rap, and they're trying to change the narrative on him a little bit. But check it out. I think watch it, make your own opinions. We'll do like a season deep dive once it gets going a little bit more, maybe towards the end of it. But yeah, there's some cool stuff in it so far. And I do like the flashback sequences more than the present day ones.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't give a shit about him being a crime boss. I did think it was funny. Like this, I don't know. This might be light spoilers, not really. But I like how he's like, oh yeah, I'm the new crime boss on Tatooine now, and he's like, everyone's trying to pay him tribute, and they're like, we're not going to do that. We're like, wait, what? But I'm the crime boss. Like, yeah, you haven't done anything, though.
Well, there was one guy who didn't want to pay. In fact, he was just like, well, actually, that guy was pretty funny. Hopefully, they bring him back. But he was a Twi'lek, or what are they called?
Yeah, Twi'lek.
Yeah, he was. He showed up, and he's just like, oh.
I could see how he could misunderstand by the email, but we're actually not going to pay you any tribute. We just wanted to say welcome, and we were expecting a tribute from you, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And before that, he's like, oh, it's nice to meet you, mayor of this area. And he's like, I can understand why you think I'm the mayor.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually the mayor.
Yeah, I'm not actually the mayor. I'm like his assistant.
I'm the secretary. You weren't important enough to have the mayor come.
That was pretty funny. So, yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think of it. I'll be keeping up with it just because I love Star Wars. But I had low expectations, but so far I'm all right with it so far. Now let's get to the real nitty-gritty, do some nerdy confessions where we confess things that make us nerds. Christian, what's your nerdy confession? Any cool nerdy Christmas stuff? Aside from what we did on the show.
Fuck, now you put me on the spot. I got an art book for Mando. That was kind of cool.
That's cool.
No, because me and the missus just gave each other's gifts super early. Oh, I got some cool. She got me some dope D&D soap with actual. It's shaped like a 20
D20,
and it has dice inside. So like,
so once you use all the soap, there's dice in it.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm just
pretty
gonna
cool.
wash my hands really, really well once, just to get the fucking dice.
Then you're gonna have fucking soap, dice that you've rubbed your balls on.
Exactly, and my butt. You gotta clean the butt.
Yeah. Oh no, I lost a D4. Oh no.
The D4. Oh, that'd be rough.
Yeah, that'd be a rough one. I mean, any of them would be rough. D20 would be probably the best.
Yeah, because it has
It's
more
big,
side.
but it's smoother.
Yeah, they're not going to be as sharp.
I wouldn't want a D4 or D6 in there.
No.
D8.
Those hard
D8,
edges.
pointy.
90 degree. You don't
No,
want
thank
those.
you. No, thank you.
But nerdy confession. Besides the gifts, so I binge watched yesterday. Stayed up till like 1 or 2 in the morning, watching the other Tiger King that I didn't know was out, which was about Doc. Forgot his name. The ponytail guy. Well, they're all. I was gonna say the piece of shit person, but they're all fucking.
He's the leather jacket guy.
Yes, the fucking ponytail guy, and they go to like more into his background. And he was part of a cult.
Oh, that guy. The other tiger, like the other, like competing.
Yeah.
Zoo owner.
He was like basically
Not the guy who bought Tiger King Zoo.
No. That was the other garbage person. No, he was the one who had like the best looking like sanctuary, what he called. But he was part of a cult where he was consistently marrying 15-year-old girls to have sex with them, and just like going through the history of this garbage person. Like, how is this guy not in fucking jail yet? Like, I mean, there's proof of all the stuff he did. He had children with 15-year-olds. It's like, how is this guy not in fucking jail?
Yeah.
Like, and then like just. It's weird, like, just watching all these people who have these tigers. I'm wondering, do the tigers make you go crazy, or only fucking insane people have tigers? And, like, all these people...
it's definitely option B. Only insane persons have tigers.
I mean, how do we feel about the guys from Vegas? What's their name?
Siegfried and Roy?
Yeah.
The one who got attacked by fucking tigers?
Yeah, but do we know if they were fucking dicks or assholes?
They were probably fucking that tiger because they're crazy.
We have no proof.
And the tigers are like, enough's enough. Just
no consent. In the fucking,
ate his face off.
But yeah, it was just fucking nuts. And I'm like, all these people, you know, towards the end, you always see they're either about to do jail time, or they're in trouble with the law, or like they're already in jail, like Tiger King.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, the only person who has yet to get in trouble is Carol fucking Baskin.
Carol Baskin, the one who definitely fed her husband.
Allegedly. She definitely fucking did it, though.
Yeah, she fucking did it for sure.
But it's like she's not, like, I don't know if she's in trouble with the law. I mean, she's obviously not in jail, but she's good. She's really fucking good. Yeah. And just like when they have her on the screen.
She's got PETA on her side, probably.
But the thing, to me, it's like, she's always talking shit about these other sanctuaries. And I'm like, bitch, you're doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
She just has a better spin on it, I guess, or a better PR team. I don't know.
They're rescuing their tigers into our sanctuary.
They have,
which is also in the backyard in fucking Alabama or wherever.
Same fucking cages, same fucking hot places where they're probably not getting enough.
But we love them more.
Same, like, I have a bunch of people, I'm not paying them, they're working for free. I have slaves who's taking care of them. Like, it's just everything is the same. But she hasn't done any fucking jail time. I don't fucking get it. No one's trying to take her tigers away. I don't understand.
Very strange.
Someone take those tigers.
That'll be season 3 of Tiger King when Carol Baskin finally gets her comeuppance.
I guess. I hope
something gets revealed.
But goddamn, those shows are good. I mean, part of me feels a little gross that like I'm watching these people, but I'm like, I want to see them get what they deserve. Like, I want to see them get fucking arrested or like financially fucking ruined. You know, something. I don't know. I
will. My nerdy confession this year is, or this year, first nerdy confession of the year. I recently started on a suggestion from a friend of mine, Anthony. You know Anthony.
Yes.
I started watching this documentary called, it's either Power Up or Power On. Power On? Doesn't matter. It's one of those. It's on YouTube. It's like a 6-part documentary, and each part is like 40 minutes long, I think. So I'm about halfway through, but it's all about the creation and story of the Xbox.
Okay.
And it's very interesting. I think I've watched 3 episodes so far of how they developed it, how the idea came about, how Bill Gates was like completely against it for so long. And he was like, there's no way this works. We're never going to do this. And
he was right. They never caught up to fucking Sony.
Well, when the original Xbox came out and then the Xbox 360, like those were seriously good selling systems.
I would say though it was based purely, I would say that they did well because Gears of War and Halo. Outside of those, tell me what was a good game that was on it.
Well, there was other ones too. I mean, there was Fable, which was an Xbox exclusive. Forza is an Xbox exclusive. There was good games. They've fallen off recently. Like Xbox One, I think is a failure, and then so is Series X, Series S remains to be seen. And I will say that the Xbox Game Pass.
And you grabbed one, right?
I did. I grabbed the Series S
for
Halo.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I will say this: since I've gotten it, and I've played around with the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is it's $15 a month. It gives you Xbox Live, which Gold membership, which lets you play online like PlayStation Plus, right? And it also gives you all these free games that you can just download for free. And it's not like, you know, how PlayStation Plus gives you like 3 games a month and like 2 of them are pieces of shit that you don't want to play.
Sure.
This one, like day one games like Halo is on there. So I just get to play Halo. I didn't have to buy Halo. I didn't have to buy Gears of War. I don't have to buy any of the Xbox exclusive games. They're just for free on there. For this monthly charge. And
reminds me of the days when you used to get an NES and you got Super Mario and fucking Duck Hunt.
Right, exactly. 2 games in the box.
Yeah.
Right? So it's I think they're fixing to make a comeback because they're embracing like the PC culture. Because the Game Pass Ultimate you can also get for PC, which is cool. So we'll see what happens. But it is very interesting to see like the conception of the Xbox thing and how like, you know, they were basically they were worried that the PlayStation 2, they were worried about Sony teaming up with the internet companies, right? Your phone company / cable company, and boxing Microsoft out of like the living room, out of like being able to use the internet.
What, like putting a monopoly on the internet? Like
Exactly, yeah.
Sounds illegal.
Well, Microsoft basically put a monopoly on computers. Remember?
No, there's Apple.
At the time when the Xbox was coming out, Microsoft was on 90% of all PCs in the world.
The
Windows.
WordPress or like
No, the operating system.
Really?
90%.
10% of people had Macs? Fuck.
Yeah. Or Max / Linux.
Okay.
Right? So that's a crazy figure to think about. Nowadays, things have evened out a little bit more, right? But at the time, Microsoft essentially had a monopoly on the personal computer. So they were worried about Sony getting a monopoly on like internet connectivity kind of thing. So they decided they were going to be the first. They wanted to get into the console world and essentially put high-speed broadband internet in their game console and be the first one to do that, to put their product, to put Windows or Microsoft in the living room, because up until that point Sony owned the living room. You had Sony TVs, Sony VCRs, Sony DVD players,
receivers,
Sony camcorders, Sony receivers, Sony speakers. Everything was Sony in the living room, or they had a large portion of the market share. So Microsoft was like, no computer company or software company has made their way into the living room. So that was their whole goal, and it worked out. I mean, say what you will about Xbox, but they were a very successful game console. They're still fairly successful. But obviously the PlayStation 5 has definitely it has a higher demand right now. But
I'd be curious to see a PlayStation one, like how they came about with the Sony PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen an NES one, which was interesting, and I saw like the Sega one, which is interesting. But I'm curious to see a PlayStation.
Another thing too that's cool about it is Microsoft wanted to be a very user-friendly system to develop on for American developers, because the PlayStation was very hard to develop for, because everything was in Japanese and you had to like translate it into Japanese. So it's very hard for American game companies to actually use it and develop games on it. So, they did a lot for the gaming world, and they revolutionized online gaming.
Do they still like modify like consoles? Because I remember, like, I don't remember if it was a PS1 or PS2.
Yeah, someone just jailbroke the PS4, I think.
Okay. Just now?
Just now, yeah. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to do that because they're not like, they're advanced supercomputers now.
Like, I don't remember if it was probably PlayStation 1, but I remember we took it to Mexico and we like legit took it to like a fucking shop.
Yeah, you put the
like
mod chip in it.
Yeah, in a swap meet, and they just open it up. You just see them with those like little soldering things like add this little chip, and now you could play anything.
Right, exactly. Make it region free. Yeah, I remember that. We used to play Dragon Ball GT Final Bout at my buddy's house, and it was a Japanese import game. And
modifying a console, kids, is when you it's like there was only regional systems, so you couldn't play Japanese games in your American.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to trick the system into thinking it was in Japan by like there was a trick where like you could pop a paperclip down into the button to make it think that the console, the flip up top was closed, but it was open. And so then you would put in what's called a boot disk, which would boot up thinking it's in America. And at a certain point, you'd pop that disk out, pop in your Japanese game, and the system would keep going and let you play through the game.
See, kids, this is the crazy shit we had to do to fucking like.
You don't even know.
See,
you don't even know.
That's some real nerd shit right there.
That's some real nerd shit. That's how desperate we were to play video games back in the day.
Don't get me started on porn. That shit was fucking difficult.
Oh my god, jerking off 2 seconds at a time while it buffered.
You just see like the one picture.
Yeah. You
couldn't get anyone to go on the phone.
It's like everyone
get off the phone.
It's like every one of those heist movies where you're like fucking hacking into the system before the security comes to get you. Like you're trying to see a titty before your mom busts in.
Yeah, you just gotta fucking like.
I think I see a nipple.
Yeah, and then you're using the image, but you're still using your imagination. So it's
exactly.
Like, imagination is what we had to use when we didn't get access to porn.
That's I used to print out this is when I don't know how old I was, like 12, 13. I used to print out like fan fiction on computer paper, and I'd be like, I'll just save this for later when I want to jerk off by myself. It was sad times.
Or the good times.
I mean, it was fine. I have a better imagination, and I really love reading now.
There you go. See, porn used to make you read, not so much.
It's the reason why we have like DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's crazy. It's crazy how much porn affects the world.
Anytime we create something that's anytime we create something that's about communication, like getting information back and forth, we find a way. How can we jerk off to it?
Right.
Every fucking
100%
time.
For sure.
Writing letters. Fucking people were.
Yeah, back in the Civil War, they were like, my heart doth,
Oh yeah,
yearn for you, and some dude in the South just like, Sally Mae.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Telegraphs, same thing.
I want to stop. I want to tear off all my clothes. Stop. I wish you were here right now. Stop. Oh my God, it's getting good.
Oh yeah. Morse code, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I guess we'll take a break and get a brief word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to be talking about The Matrix Resurrections. We'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, first foremost, let's do our spoiler-free review. Should people watch Matrix Resurrections?
Yeah. Producer Rick is right. It stinks.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's a quote. What was that fucking cartoon? It stinks.
It stinks.
What the fuck was that cartoon?
I don't even remember. But yeah, I was very disappointed in it. I had high hopes for it. I love the Matrix movies.
I love Keanu Reeves.
And I love Keanu Reeves too. I liked all three of the original movies too. Like I know the second two were not as good as the first one. I realized that.
The last one had a bad ending, but I enjoyed all of them.
I didn't mind the ending. I thought it was interesting. But the action, the special effects, the weird lore
on the second one were good for its time.
First time, yeah.
But not so much anymore. But
the first one revolutionized cinema.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it didn't use that much CG in it. It was a lot of practical effects.
Yeah, that's true. In a way, so did the second one. There's a lot of stuff that we see now that we take for granted that was pioneered in the second one.
Yeah, the car chase that they did.
The car chase
in part 2 was amazing.
It's fucking amazing.
That was shot in Oakland, right? They did like a big ass loop.
I believe
freeway.
So. Yeah, they like built the freeway or something.
Yeah.
But this movie was none of that. and it was very, very disappointing. If you got HBO Max, and you've got time to kill, go ahead and check it out just to see what we mean.
I want you to check it out so then you can tell us how much you hated
how
it.
right we were.
Which is what happened last week because Cody watched it, and I was like, dude, tell me about it because I'm going to watch it, and I don't really care if you ruin it for me. And he's just like, no, I just need you to watch it.
I'm a big fan of people making their own decisions about movies. You know what I mean? Like me, I loved Man of Steel, the Superman movie. People shit on it. That's fine. Like, it's a different movie for different people.
That's the one with the actor that everyone forgot about, right?
What? No, that's Henry Cavill.
Oh, no. I'm thinking about the one before.
The Witcher, season 2, out right now. Check it out.
Before him.
Brandon Routh.
Was that his name?
Yeah. He now plays the Atom in Legends of Tomorrow, the DC show. So he plays two characters in the DC universe because he also played Superman in the crossover Arrowverse event. He came back as his Superman from Superman Returns.
That Superman
Kevin
movie
Spacey
ruined his career.
Kevin Spacey played Lex Luthor, and then
Yes.
he molested kids or whatever.
Not in the movie, just in real life.
Just in real life, yeah.
Which some would argue is worse.
I think most would argue that's worse. Wouldn't you say, Christian? But yeah, back to The Matrix. Just it fell far short of expectations. Super disappointment. I mean, it's not very often. Like, I can leave a movie that was not very good and be like, well, at least it was fun. You know what I mean? Like the Black Widow. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, but it was fun. It was fun, entertaining. Like, there was good parts of it. Like, you can recognize the good qualities of it. You know what I mean?
I enjoyed it, and we've said it multiple times. It was, for me, just Taskmaster.
Right.
Taskmaster's what ruined the fucking movie.
Yeah, and the timing of it. There was things wrong with it, but even though it wasn't our favorite movie, we still had a good time. Like the last Star Wars movie, Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's still Star Wars. I still loved it. Like, I still enjoyed going and see it in the movie theaters, right? There's still moments that I was really happy about. This movie is not like that. I got to the end of the movie and I was just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that was pretty much all of the movie, but particularly towards the end. But we're going to get into it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, fair warning, now we're going to go into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen Matrix Resurrections, pause it, don't watch it, and then come back and listen to us.
So I have a theory.
Okay.
A lot of you guys are going to have a knee-jerk reaction in the beginning. Just hear me out. Okay. Hear me out before you judge me. So, I think a lot of, like, the first one was fucking great. It was an amazing fucking movie. It was super creative. And I think art sometimes comes from a tortured place.
Yep.
Tortured artists, like comedians, they're fucked up people. They're tortured.
Yeah, the funniest ones have the worst lives.
Yeah, for sure. One example is Kevin Smith when he did Chasing Amy. It was fucking great. He was a tortured guy. He was broke, so he created greatness from being tortured, and now that he's rich and well off, he can't write shit.
Can't do shit. Yeah, he just cries at YouTube videos and fucking makes terrible shows
from watching commercials. But so that being
cries so much, like
it's because he's high. But
yeah, I guess.
But now that being said, I think when Wachowski, when she was a he, was tortured.
Yeah,
there was some pain.
Both of them.
Oh, did they both? I thought they both
transitioned.
Okay, yeah. I thought they both. So both of them were tortured. Both of them were not being their authentic selves.
Yeah,
and it was terrible for them. But I think now they transitioned.
There's a lot of people saying that the first 3 movies are about transitioning.
There you go.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's like some subtext in there. I can see that.
But now that they've transitioned and they're happy living, their happy lives.
Bad movies.
Bad movies.
One of them didn't even come back to make this. Yeah. They're like, I'm good.
She was smart enough to be like, no, thanks.
Yeah. That was.
But that's my theory.
Lily Wachowski did not come back. Lana directed this one, wrote and directed this one.
That she's happy and she couldn't write
Couldn't write shit.
Yeah. And that's my log argument of pointing out without saying no. Actually, for people who
that's Christian's anti-trans.
And anyone who's listening to this and thinks that women can't direct, you're sexist. I didn't say that. I just said that great art comes from pain.
So what you're not saying that once she became a woman, she lost the ability to direct.
I didn't say that.
If you thought that, that's your problem.
That's on you.
No, but in all seriousness, I think that one of the things this movie suffers from is the first trilogy was a complete story.
Yes.
It was like the first movie even was like it was only designed to be a standalone movie, and then it became this like huge success, and like they're like, okay, we need to make more of this, so they expanded on the lore and the War of the Machines and all that stuff. But goddamn, there's so many problems with the movie. So let's go over the plot a little bit. So we guessed long before this came out, like one of my predictions, or maybe it was Fabienne's, or I don't know. One of our predictions was that Neo was going to be like playing Keanu Reeves essentially as a movie star in the Matrix movie, in the new Matrix, okay. Right? So like the reason why he kind of remembers the Matrix is because he is essentially Keanu Reeves, the actor who played Neo in the Matrix. That was one of my theories where I was like, I think that's kind of how they're going. We weren't far off. In the movie, he is like a video game designer, developer who created a series of video games called The Matrix, which essentially that's what the first three movies were supposed to be.
It was his game that he made.
That was the game that he made.
But we should backtrack a little. The reason why they made the Matrix made him think that he made these games was because they brought him back to life. He was dead. They brought back him and Trinity. And that was from the beginning one of the hardest pills for me to swallow. I was like, why would they...
Was it a blue pill or a red pill?
Either fucking... Both of them at the same time. Like, why would they bring him back? They don't go into why. They just say, like, oh, they brought them back and stuck them in the machine. And then I
think the analyst guy said they wanted to, like, study them or something. But then they found out that having the two of them close to each other creates better human batteries.
Which they don't... Like, that's the extent of what they said.
Right. I think that that's a huge problem in this movie in general, is there's a lot of info dumping, like exposition, which is like it's used in really like bad like TV and movies. Like the most common example is like Spock in the original Star Trek series. He'd be like, but Captain, that's sodium and water. Sodium being the composition of salt, when mixed with water, produces an explosion reaction. You're like, oh, thanks, Spock, for explaining that all for us. The dumb audience who doesn't know what's going on. Like, there's a lot of that in this movie where they're like rapid fire shooting out, like, why the robots are doing this, why, what happened to Zion, what happened to Morpheus. Everything's being spit out in these long, like, monologues, and some of the most interesting information from the movie is in those little things, and they'd never expand on.
No, not at all.
And then, so Neo and Trinity are in new, battery pods in the machine world because they're helping there was like a machine civil war.
Which, to me, as soon as they mentioned that part, the Machine Civil War, I'm like, that would have been a great movie. Like, the fact that when Neo died and he released some of the humans, some of the programs were like, you know what? Maybe he was right. And they sided with Neo, and they fought against each other. I'm like, that would have been a great premise for a movie.
There was also a shortage of power because they had freed so many humans or something. And so they were fighting over power. Like, they were like battery hoarding. I like to imagine it was like Mad Max, except instead of like water and gas, it was human batteries.
Or us and toilet paper.
Yeah, that's true. Us and toilet paper at the beginning of COVID.
No, but to me, I was like, that would have been a great movie. Like, had they just had what the title was hinting, Resurrection, Neo had just gone full cycle back to like a new body.
Yeah.
And like the robots joined on his side. So not only would it be Neo, but Neo with programs helping him fight the rest of the Matrix.
Right.
To me, that would have been a great fucking
movie.
What
I was hoping is, because in the first movie, they're talking about the prophecy of the One and how the One is like an anomaly born of the Matrix, right?
Yep.
So I thought it would be cool is if, Neo's code was so strong that even after his body died in the third movie, he reconstitutes himself like Dr. Manhattan style in the Matrix. You know what I mean? And then now he's, I don't know, trying to figure out is he alive, is he not, is he a machine, is he a human,
or not even that,
like you have those identity problems going on
or with that, he's hopping along different bodies, like he's just trying to figure out, okay,
like an agent,
like, am I a human or am I a program, because I was human at one point and now I'm not. That would have been fucking cool.
Yeah, cool, interesting idea. There's a lot of those interesting ideas that they that pop up in this movie, but nothing ever happens. So let's talk about Morpheus, right? So Thomas Anderson, the video game developer, he has this feeling that something is not right in his life. Like he's absorbed in his old game, The Matrix, and he just it feels so real to him. He doesn't know what's real and what's not. So he starts playing around with this modal program that he creates, where he essentially programs a new version of Morpheus into the program.
Well, he kind of slams Morpheus and Agent Smith together.
Right. When he's coding them, he creates a new person that has code from an agent and code from Morpheus, and creates them into one person. And this is played out in the opening scene from the first Matrix, which we see at the opening of this movie. You see Trinity in the room with the phone, and then all the agents bust in and stuff.
So the vibe that I kind of got from that scene was that basically they stole the idea from Doctor Strange in the Infinity War, where this scene is just playing over and over and over and over and over again until that Morpheus figures out a way of getting out. But what I don't understand is when they had Bunny, or what was that? Bugs, and her operator watching this scenario. But why? I thought that was weird. They didn't really go into it. They were just lucky enough to be watching the game within the game and then piecing together something's not right.
Yeah, well, one thing too is in that first scene. So it's essentially the first opening scene of the original Matrix. So if you guys remember, Trinity's in a room. She picks up a phone call and there's oh, they're coming for you or whatever, right? And a bunch of people bust in. She starts punching them and stuff. She does the crazy floating kick that they zoom around and stuff. And then, she runs away and agents chase after her and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's the opening scene. In this one, they do the same exact thing, but with a different actress.
Yes.
Who looks kind of like Carrie-Anne Moss. And you're like, oh, okay, what's this all about? Is this a flashback or what? And then, we see Bugs, who's kind of in the background watching it. She's like, what is this this modal? I don't know what a modal is. I'm not that techie. But
I thought it was mogul for a long time.
Mogul. It's a modal. What is this modal that we're watching? Something feels wrong. And you come to find out that one of the agents who is chasing down Trinity in this played out scene from the first movie is Morpheus. And he grabs her and pulls her into one of those hidden doorways from the Keymaster or whatever from the second movie, third movie.
Second.
And he's like, I thought I'd find you here. There's no one ever in the key shop, because the Keymaster is gone, right? He died in the second movie or whatever. And so he realizes something was wrong. So they rescue that program, the new Morpheus, out of that modal program and into the regular Matrix. Okay, so that's a really convoluted opening scene, but here's the thing is they never explore anything. So we have Morpheus, who's new Morpheus. That's how they explain having a new actor. And I get it. It's fine. Some of the stuff they wanted him to do, Lawrence Fishburne probably couldn't do anymore because he's old. They're all old. But he's a program that's half Morpheus and half agent. But nowhere in the rest of this movie does he ever do anything agent related.
No.
He doesn't do the blurry motion. He doesn't do the super punches and stuff like that. No. He doesn't morph from one body to another body to another body. That entire premise was forgotten about for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he was just Morpheus after.
He was just Morpheus, and not even a good version of Morpheus because he gets his shit pushed in by Agent Smith constantly. And he's he makes fun of the Morpheus lines from the beginning, from the first movie.
That was one thing that really bugged me. We haven't gotten into it, but I get the nostalgia is very powerful and it pulls people in, but how much that they just showed of the original movie or / the game.
It was literally playing in the background
Yeah.
as they redid the exact same scene.
It was so unnecessary. It was just pretty cringy, really.
Oh, we get it. You're meta. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, it was so
oh,
bad.
you think you're so smart. It's like one scene would have been enough to be like, oh shit, I get it. The original movies we saw were just a video game. Like, no, see, look, this is the scene when we're doing the scene again. I'm like, I get it.
And on top of
This
that,
has been 45 minutes of this.
right? And on top of that, like when basically they tell Neo, hey, we're gonna make a new trilogy, and Neo's like, I don't know, the first one was pretty good. They were like, well,
Warner Brothers is going to do it with or without us.
which is like, okay, man, I get it. Like, it's a fucking.
I get it, Lana. You didn't really want to do this, but they waved money in front of you.
And you did it. You did.
Yeah.
It was just weird for me to shit on the studio, shit on the idea of the movie / game, but yet you did it. It's not like, I don't know, just beat us with a stick about how you sold out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't like resolve you. You know, you still fucking did it. But like the other thing that bugged me is like when they're making the new game, they're repeating the same lines. Like, what made the Matrix so great?
Right.
It fucked with your mind. And they do that like 4 or 5 times,
Right.
where they're trying to
show how people in this Matrix are kind of trapped in a loop. That's
Which-
why Neo's on a treadmill, right? You're literally walking, going nowhere.
And that would have been enough. That
Right.
would have been enough. But like
The symbolism's there. We don't need 20-minute montage.
of the same fucking thing
Yeah.
of him taking the blue pill. It's like, dude, you're
I
burning
get
screen
it.
time where you
Yeah.
could have been doing something else.
There's also one thing that really bothered me in this was the fact that in the movie or in the game studio, they say like, oh, we need bullet time. What's the next bullet time? And then when it's revealed that Neil Patrick Harris's character, the analyst, who is like one of the big bads of this movie, he's like, oh, it was your idea, bullet time. You know, that's where I got the idea to slow down time and stuff.
With the cat. It was the cat, Deja Vu, that actually helped him do it.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's like his new scary power is he can freeze everybody, and like while bullets are flying. And it's not like in the first Matrix where it's slow and you see him like dodge past or whatever. But like it seems like they forgot that bullet time is not what happened in the first movie. Neo is moving so fast that he's dodging these bullets in real time. We're seeing bullet time as the audience.
Yeah.
So we're not slowing down time. And first of all, Neo didn't invent that. The agents did.
Yeah.
Remember how you shoot at an agent
and
and
then
they
they
blur
did.
out of the way?
The big deal was that he was, as a human, was able to do it. His brain was
Yeah.
so fast that he was as fast as a
It's like
computer.
they forgot to watch their own fucking movie. I'm so mad. Here's some big ideas. I wrote down. I've looked at all these.
No, I see the notes.
that I say. Okay, so here's a bunch of big ideas left on the table that were mentioned but never touched on again. Okay, machines working with the humans. Right.
I love that idea.
I love that idea too. I did not like how they had to make all of the machines working with humans like cute and they have cool names and stuff. There's like the little one who just, I guess, yeah, and high fives the guy. Dude, get that Michael Bay shit out of here.
I'm not gonna lie, I did like the little robot. Was it Lord Bebe? Or it was something.
Yeah, they all have stupid names. Loro Bebe or whatever.
Something like, it was like Lord Bebe. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
I mean, it's a cool idea. It's just like one's like a fucking manta ray that flies through the thing and turns invisible. I'm like, oh, cool. What about the fucking squids that have tentacle claws and stuff? They don't give those the power to turn invisible. They give this obvious traitor the ability to turn invisible. Cool machines. Agent Smith's connection to Neo. So now we do get a recast Agent Smith in this, right? I think that guy did a good job of kind of being the Agent Smith, right?
Yeah,
You know?
he did a cool job.
But there's no explanation to...
Yeah, I do want to say he had a very interesting, calming, yet could be scary voice. It was,
Right.
It was a very like chill voice, but it was also some threatening, like
Right, exactly. Like when you're sitting down with your boss who's like really ripping into you, but trying to be nice.
It was a different take, versus Agent Smith. in the
Hugo
original.
Weaving's,
Yeah, Hugo Weaving, where it was slow and it felt robotic, but it also still felt like a threat.
Oh, but Hugo Weaving had the one. Remember when he was talking about there's the one thing about you humans that I just can't get over. It's the smell.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like getting the sweat off of fucking
Lawrence
Fishburne.
Yeah.
I fucking love that scene. God damn.
Yeah, I think he smells it himself.
Yeah. But Agent Smith's connection to Neo. Like, he literally saves Neo in the end for no reason.
I didn't get that at all.
Like,
I didn't get it at all. He said he wanted to get the analyst, and he said that they were connected.
And he could break the analyst's power.
Yeah. And
But
then that
Neo
was it.
couldn't.
And then that was it.
And that was it. Like,
Didn't explain why
didn't explain anything. Didn't explain why he got rebuilt in this Matrix. Like, why is he there? The analysts rebuilt everything.
Well,
they wanted Neo and they wanted Trinity because of their love power making batteries better.
They kind of touched on it where they said he was the flip side of Neo. You know, when you have a Neo, you have to have the opposite side. I guess the yin to the yang, but it didn't. Why would a computer care about that shit?
Yeah, why would they care about that? Neo and Trinity's connection affecting like the real world. Like, so Neo in the third movie, he actually affects machines in the real world, right? Yep. He stops the machines and in real life, not just in the Matrix. And then now Trinity and Neo's love or connection affect the real world too by making more batteries. Like, why does that happen? They never explored it at all. They're just like, oh, their love makes things so much better.
You know, what they could have done was to say, oh, we saw how much their longing, like them needing to be together but keeping them separate, created more energy, and now we're doing this to all the humans where, like, there's something that they want that they cannot achieve for some reason, and that created... We learned that from them, and now we're applying it to all humans. That would have made sense.
Right. It would have made a much more, like, evil plan. They're specifically keeping us from happiness.
Because it creates more energy.
Yeah, because strife creates more energy.
But they didn't
do that, yeah. People not wanting to escape the Matrix. They put that in there a couple times. They said that. They're like, yeah, people, we're getting less and less people getting pulled out every year. You know, they say that. That's interesting.
It was interesting, and it wasn't the movie that explained that, and it didn't make that to me interesting. It was the video I had sent you. What was it? Screen Crush.
Screen Crush, yeah.
Which that guy, if you want to hire someone to sell a fucking movie that sucked, this guy.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if he was a shill for fucking Warner Brothers.
I think that channel just is overly positive on a lot of stuff.
But I was just like, okay, you are reading way more into what I think she meant to put in the movie.
Right.
Like, but he's good at bullshitting. I'll give it to him.
Yeah. They also mentioned that Bugs has similar brain patterns to Trinity, so that they were going to use her to trick the thing into thinking that Trinity was still plugged in while they hacked her and bypassed
Which
her.
would have been interesting.
Why does she have a similar brain pattern? Is she Trinity reborn in the Matrix? Let's explore that.
No,
they're like, nah, she has short hair and she's a woman, so she's a new Trinity.
Which it would have been interesting, like on screen, to show that Bugs was willing. Okay, in order to save humanity, I'm going to sacrifice myself to get Trinity out.
There is no sacrifice at all.
No, I don't think anyone in the crew died.
No, nobody. And that, remember,
like the first one, everyone died.
Not like this.
Yeah, it was
that
sad.
moment. I was like, oh, I can't name all those people, but you know that, like, one of the operator guys who was like the Dozer. I remember it was like Dozer or the other guy.
It wasn't Gozer because
it was like Dozer and Bull, or I don't know. It was something stupid. But one of them dies, and the other guy like barely makes it out, and he has to kill Cypher.
Yeah.
Then they unjack those other two people, and they you see them like fall dead, and dude, like half the crew dies in the first movie.
Yeah.
There's like stakes to it. No one dies in this movie. Everyone's terrible at shooting. Neo doesn't even use a gun in this movie.
Neo barely fights.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Keanu Reeves is good at stunts. And I know some people were like, oh, dude, he's older. John fucking Wick, he's doing most of that stuff.
Right.
So even as an older dude, he's still...
Yeah, so John Wick, too, he doesn't do a lot of kung fu type stuff. He does some like hand-to-hand stuff, but he does a lot of shooting combat.
Yeah.
Neo doesn't use a gun once in this movie. If you rewatch it, he does not shoot a bullet.
He barely throws a punch, but...
Yeah, and he does a lot of force pushing.
Which I don't fucking get. Is that a new power? Because I don't remember that from the original.
Well, it's like, in the original,
he stops
bullets. So they're just like, well, what if you could do that a bunch? It would be like, boop, 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 boop. But here's the thing. Like, I understand from Sorry, I had to burp. From a practical standpoint, Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, they're in their 50s now, okay? Like, I understand that. You can't get the same amount of action kung fu energy out of Keanu Reeves. But that's okay because Keanu Reeves is the one, right? So his powers, once he wakes up from the Matrix, he should regain his powers and advance them. The more he believes that he's the one, right? So they could use that to their advantage rather than just having him force push 1,000 bullets, which is so stupid. And sometimes it works and sometimes it's hard for him and sometimes it's not, whatever. Like, why not have that bleed over into the fight scenes? Instead of him actually having to fight like agents and stuff, what if he fucking like teleports around? Like he like deconstructs himself and reconstructs himself around the fight scene and is hardly having to block at all, like Goku status.
Yeah,
you know
or
what I mean?
even force block punches, like just like bop bop, like doesn't even have to come near him, like just like here, he's just stopping every like hit before.
Yeah,
it comes
exactly.
to him.
Just like holding his hands up like this, and just like you see his hands blurring. Use special effects to your advantage, rather than like put this 50-year-old man on a wire and have him like do like a cartwheel around a corner. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
And I think, the original fight choreographer for The Matrix, I think, died. So they didn't have him. But, like, they obviously didn't have any good replacement for this one. Because, even if they put some time into it, like, I'm sure they could have gotten better than what they did. But, like, they should have ramped up his The One powers even more. Like, the whole point of the One is that he realizes that there is no spoon, right? There is no Matrix. Anything is possible in here because it's all fake. That was like the idea of one of the first movie. So why is he limited to like just force pushing bullets?
Well, that was the other
Nothing
thing.
advanced.
Nothing advanced. He couldn't
fly.
He couldn't fly, which I thought was fucking weird because he has the force push and like maybe they could have said like, oh, he's still like relearning his powers or something. But then at the end, we get Trinity that's flying.
Yeah, they both jump off a building together. And then he can't fly, but Trinity can. She catches him.
Why? Maybe I missed something.
Yeah.
Maybe you got it. I don't know.
So the nearest I can tell is that the old Matrix birthed Neo as the One because he was a what do you call it? Anomaly in the code. He was the anomaly, right? This new Matrix is built around the two of them's connection. So I can kind of see a yin and a yang.
Okay.
But that doesn't explain why Keanu couldn't fly and she could.
And then at the end he could again.
At the end he could again.
I don't know.
The idea of the One is like once you remember when he starts fighting the agent and Morpheus is like, what's happening? He's like, he's beginning to believe.
Yeah.
And he starts fucking owning and just like,
and he
blocking bullets and
with
stuff.
like just one hand and shoulder and stuff.
Yeah. Like that's how the One is supposed to be. So if he knows that the whole Matrix was real, it stands to account that all of his One powers would immediately come back.
Right.
And if you want to give those to Carrie-Anne Moss too, fine. That's fine. I think that Trinity was a strong enough character without them to exist in another movie. I don't think you needed to power her up to be like Neo to make her relevant. But I mean,
like the car scene or the motorcycle scene in the second movie.
Oh my God, so good. And
a lot of that was.
And this one was shitty. They went around the same 2 blocks in San Francisco.
Force pushing
CG, zombies away.
They were bots, but they were zombies.
Yeah, exactly. Swarm mode. What other things did I write on here? There is no spoon moment, where he like kind of wakes up and realizes something big about himself, about the world. Like that doesn't really exist. Oh, I thought this would be an interesting way to fix the Matrix too. So, 2 things. I talked about a little bit about like how to change the fight scenes where to make Keanu's One powers more relevant. Like either having him like teleport around or like blinking into and out of existence. Cause like in the Matrix, he's just a bunch of code. he can reinsert that code in anywhere he wants. So that would be a cool visual effect to have him blink around and not have to have Keanu Reeves jumping around on wires. Also, rather than stopping or force pushing bullets, which is stupid, and we've seen before, like when he first stopped bullets in The Matrix 1, that was amazing. We're like, holy shit. But now we've seen so much of that. Let's do something new, and let's have him, like, instead of stopping them, let's have him just like tear them down by like lines of code where the bullets actually like are torn down by a molecular level. You know, so it's just like you just see puffs of smoke and nothing actually hits them. And then the guns crumble into nothing, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And even the agents start like, you know, falling. Like that would be cool. Having him remake The Matrix in his own image, like the way he wants it.
They kind of said at the end, like, "Oh, we can remake this place the way we want it."
Yeah, but don't tell us. Show us. That's what movies are for, right? And then also that first scene where we re-see the Matrix, and it's like some other actress playing Trinity. What they should have done, I think, would have been more interesting, is actually have the first scene of the original Matrix play it out, but digitally insert new Morpheus into it, because they've done that. Like, look at fucking Forrest Gump,
which is long ass time ago.
Yeah, and it looks bad if you rewatch it in like Blu-ray.
Does it look bad? I gotta rewatch it.
Their lips look fucking stupid, like when JFK is talking to him. But the technology now is so much better. Insert Morpheus into the background and Bugs into the background, and then have them join up off to the side. I think that would have been a much more effective thing than rather than like, who's this lady pretending to be Trinity, you know? Yeah, that's, I mean, it's just,
it was so bad.
So bad. You know, it's just, I don't
even know if they're going to do another one. Like,
they left it like wide open. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to remake this world. And now they're more powerful than the analyst, and they're like torturing him, but he's like a computer program, so who cares?
Also, it was interesting how sexist a computer program can be.
Yeah.
It's like, you're gonna shut your woman up? It's like, dude, like, first off, this is way in the future. Second off, these programs don't.
Second off, you're a robot. And there is no gender.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
I guess they just needed to have a reason for
him to be hateable or whatever. Yeah, it was just. It just missed on everything. Like, what do you want from The Matrix? You want like a cool, interesting concept and idea? You don't. You have that, you know, this is so meta because now we're making a sequel, but in the movie they're making a sequel of the same thing that we're making a sequel of. Like, who gives a shit?
The mental masturbation was just
oh my God. It was so much. And then there's no like, oh my God, like the whole, you know, it would be more interesting if there was a revelation that the machines are more like us and we're like them, and so now we can work together. And that's like this weird moment. If him and Morpheus, like the whole plot point revolved around him not trusting a machine, not trusting a program because of his history, and he rightfully shouldn't because of what he had to deal with in the past. But then by working together, they become a team that is more powerful than the architects of the Matrix. Like, that's an interesting movie.
Or if them working together would have led to the robot revolution, like that would have been
leading to this robot civil war and freeing humanity. Then the message of the movie is, hey, even though you have differences, and this might have been your enemy at one point, by understanding how you guys are alike, you can working together, you can achieve great things. Okay, that's like a Hallmark card, but at least it's a message. Like, what is the message of this movie? Oh, true love is more powerful than robots.
I mean, and even to connect it to the original movie where it was the allegory of the cave, where you don't know what is reality. You know, your version of reality is now different because you've been enlightened. Where if this is like, well, what is humanity? Like, just because you started off as human, you could still be a prick programmable thing, and a program or a computer can also learn so much that it like the lines blurs between what is human or what is consciousness. Like that would have been fucking good.
Yeah, but there's none of that. I don't know, man. I was like, the things you look for in the Matrix are some interesting things to think about, like that. Kick-ass action, right?
Producer Rick is over there smiling. I don't know why, but
maybe he started watching it. He knows what we're talking. kick-ass action, awesome special effects. Okay, that's all we're asking for. The action in this was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
It was shot poorly, right? Like,
yeah, think about it. It almost, parts of it kind of felt like a...
Like the scene with did you like the Merovingian cameo?
I mean, like, to be honest, at first I was like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
And then it was so he said.
Then it was like, what is he saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shot poorly. In that scene, like, they're jumping around. You can't tell who's fighting who. There's no stakes to anything. Nobody dies. The bad guys just run off. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, like, part of it was shot almost like a straight to...
Even
like,
the dojo scene.
Yeah,
like,
it was pretty bad. But
like
a lot
the
of
outside, the outside looked cool. And then you get inside, and it's just like, oh, they're flying around on wires, and then Neo force pushes.
Yeah, like what I was, some of the parts looked like it was a straight to like TV like stuff. Right. Like I don't know.
It looked like Netflix quality.
No, not even Netflix. Like
Yeah.
like ABC.
Oh,
Or like
fuck. Yeah, some of it was bad, but I don't know, man. It is just really disappointing. I love The Matrix, and I would have rather not had this movie at all, which is hard to say. Like, say what you will about, like, say the Star Wars sequels. I'm glad they exist. Like, I think they're like they progress a story, whether or not it's the way that I would have wanted. I'm glad that they're around.
not so much this one.
Not so much. I wish this never existed. It's so bad.
You said there's some people that are actually enjoying it, right?
Some people fucking love this movie.
I'm curious to what it was.
I saw one YouTube video. I can't remember his name. I won't even do it because fuck that guy. But he said Matrix Resurrections is the perfect movie.
That guy got paid for sure.
Dude, I don't know. Like, and it's weird. Like, there's a lot of positive reviews out there. And there are a lot of negative ones too, but like the positive ones are so ridiculous. They're like, oh, nonstop action, the type of thrilling experience we expect from the Matrix. I'm like, what movie did you watch? Did you watch Spider-Man: No Way Home instead?
Yeah. Did you get the
that's a
titles
different movie.
Did you get the fucking title switched on those? Like,
dude, yeah. I just like objectively the movie is. Just bad action. It's bad action. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, I think they did an excellent job with the script that they were given. Like, they're in it. And their connection, like, I thought they had even better chemistry than they did in the original movie. Like, in the coffee shop, I really like that scene. I think the chick who played Bugs, who was, what's her face from Iron Fist?
I was gonna say Daredevil. No, you're right. Iron Fist. Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Fist and the Defenders.
She had the samurai sword.
Ooh, I can't think of her name. But anyway, she's great. I think she's an excellent actress. I like the guy who played Morpheus. I thought he did a good Morpheus. And again, the guy who did who was Agent Smith. I can't remember his name. He was from Mindhunter. If you ever watched that show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I knew him from somewhere.
He did excellent as Agent Smith. But the script was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think the acting was fine, but the script, the direction, and the editing were terrible.
As much as I love NPH, his lines were fucking terrible.
Yeah, but he's got to read the lines they wrote.
Yeah.
That she wrote. I guess Lana was the only one who wrote. I think she was the only credited writer.
I don't know. I wasn't paying. As soon as it was over, I don't even know if there was any after credit scenes or mid.
There was.
There was.
It was fucking stupid. You know what it was?
What?
It's all the video game developers talking around like, what is the future of the Matrix? We need to figure out the future of the Matrix. One guy's like, I know what it is. What is the internet? Cat videos. What do we make? Cat tricks. And it's the Matrix, but with cats. And that's the end of the fucking...
That's pretty bad.
Like, how much does Lana Wachowski not give a fuck about the Matrix fans to put something like that in there? I just hope you enjoyed this movie. Fucking cat videos. I'm
surprised the whole movie wasn't just memes like Spider-Man, the 3 Spider-Man pointing.
You're Neo.
Some shit. Or just sad Keanu like eating his sandwich on the bench.
God. Well, we obviously did not like this movie. Let us know what you thought of it. Drop it down in the comments. I'll probably put like some really cool like clickbaity thumbnail on. It's like The Matrix, worst movie ever made? Question mark.
Or the best movie ever made.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why we get both sides.
Yeah, definitely not. But let us know what you thought. We are interested to hear your take. Maybe we missed something, but I can't see how we did. I was just super disappointed.
Dude, the fact that I like shitty movies and I can enjoy shitty movies and I didn't enjoy this or I thought it was bad just fucking
tells you something. Yeah. But we do appreciate you guys. Hopefully this podcast is not like that and you guys enjoy this and we still have a clear message of our nerdiness. You can follow us on all the social medias at Nerds with Friends, or like and subscribe. This video really helps us out. It's free. Just click the 2 little buttons down at the bottom of the video, or if you're listening on any of the podcast programs, make sure you just follow us, subscribe to us, whatever they ask you to do. We do appreciate that. You can become a patron of the show and help support us by going to patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. Help give us some money. Help bust us out of the Matrix or whatever. I couldn't think of a good. That's our soulless cash grab, just like the Matrix was for Lana Wachowski. Ooh, got her. We do appreciate that. And thanks to all the patrons who already support us. You guys make this show possible. That's why we raise your names up into the heavens. Ooh, I should do like a green font for this time.
And have the code go like...
Yeah, I don't know how to do it like that, but I can make it green. Hopefully it's green now.
Depending how tired Cody was when you editing.
Exactly. Christian, thanks for watching that shitty movie.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Here's to another exciting year of Nerds with Friends. I do appreciate you guys listening. To all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends. Please don't watch The Matrix. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you next week.